So I'm excited now to introduce you to the senior empowering guru herself, Jennifer, my partner, with lots of fun information and good information we're going to share with you this morning. Jennifer's been helping families with their real estate needs for many years. Her compassion, trustworthiness, and empathy have led her to become a senior real estate specialist. That's a special certification, and a certified probate specialist. That's being able to benefit seniors and their families when the need arises. Jennifer is uniquely qualified to help seniors understand the complexities of contracts, the disclosures, and the other procedures that come along with buying or selling a home or relocating or moving. All of those things is what we do, and she specializes in helping seniors do that. A lifelong passion for helping others succeed makes her a natural choice for your real estate buying or selling needs, and to answer questions about how to relocate, how to downsize, what the steps are. I could go on and on and on, and I will. So feel free at any time today to just go, stop, can we get to the next speaker already? Because I have a lot to say too. But it's with great pleasure and love that I introduce you to my partner, Jennifer Goldstein.
All right, welcome everybody. I'm so happy to be here. And as you can tell, I do have a wireless mic, and the reason I do is because I don't like holding a microphone. So I look kind of funky with this, but this is my first time trying it. But I'm so pleased that you're all here. Before I begin, I just kind of want to get a feel for who we have in the room. So will you raise your hand if you got an invitation from us in the mail? I just kind of want to see what we've got. Okay, and how many of you found us on Facebook? The Facebook advertising. Okay, always good to know. And how many of you were dragged here by your friends? There's always somebody. The other question I want to ask you, and I hope you'll help me and answer it. You know, I do this because I love seniors and I love working with them, but I want to make sure that you, while you're here, that you get some really great information and go home with information. So what I'd like to do is ask you, what drew you here? When you got the invitation or when you found it on Facebook, what are some of the reasons why you decided to RSVP? Does anybody want to raise their hand and tell me? You like the title, should I stay or should I go? You know, downsizing with dignity. And downsizing with dignity. Absolutely, that is a very important thing. So thank you. So let me begin today. I want to tell you about two very different but two very important people in my life. Two important women. The first one right here is my mother, Dorothy. When Dorothy my mother was about 75 years old, she was still living in the family home. My father had passed away about 15 years earlier, and she was beginning to wonder if she should stay in her home or if she should go. Things were becoming really hard for her. You know, she was spending all of her time all day long maintaining the home and cleaning it, and so that she felt comfortable there. You know how we as women, we always are cleaning our homes. And she still had stairs to go up and down, and that was getting difficult for her. And then when things broke down, it was nearly impossible for her. And we as her children tried to help, but some of us didn't live close by, and some of us were still raising our children. So it got very difficult. So one day, she talked to her financial advisor to figure out what she could do, and then she called us all together at a family meeting, and she said, you know what? I think it's time for me to sell the family home and to downsize. And so we agreed with her. And so we took her around to a couple of places that she had picked out, some senior communities, some condos, and some apartments. You know, she picked one that was close to downtown because she used to love to go to the symphony and the theater, and she hadn't been able to do that for a long time, and they were downtown, so she was excited about that. I will tell you, once she decided where she was going to go, the rest of it became so much easier. She came home, she got excited about what she could take to her new home. She let us kids pick a few things, and then we all helped her decide where the rest of it would go. I will tell you, on the day of the move, the movers came in, they packed everything up, they took it down to her new home, they unpacked it all, they even put the pictures on the wall, so that Mom felt like she had lived there for a while when she went to bed that night. We got the house empty. We cleaned it up. We got it all washed and cleaned and painted a few rooms and got it all ready to put on the market. And then we had the home staged. We felt that way was the best way for Mom to get the most for her money. You know, when all was said and done, watching my mother change was the most wonderful thing in the world. She got excited to live again. She became a volunteer in her church. She started doing hobbies I didn't even know she had. She put them on a shelf a long time ago while she was raising 6 kids. And she even started dating. So it was fun to see my mom do that and to become the person that she did once she downsized. The second lady I want to tell you about is my mother-in-law, Judy. Now, Judy's 86 years young. She's still living with us, and I am so happy that we have her. Judy lives in a 3-bedroom, 1-level home. She has a cleaning person, a gardener, and a pool person come in every week to take care of her home so she can keep it up to the level that she wants to. And Judy's very active. She's still driving, and she's taking classes at the local university. She plays mahjong and bridge every week with a bunch of her girlfriends. And you know, only Judy and one of her other friends are still living in their home. The rest of them have downsized and are either living in condos or in some sort of senior facility. Now, we are so happy that Judy is in her home, and she wants to stay there. We want her to. As long as she can continue to maintain herself and to keep her home up to the level that she wants to stay there. But she's answered a question for herself in that she knows if and when it's time for her to go, she knows where she wants to go. And that's the most important thing, is that you decide before somebody else has to decide for you where you're going to go. You know, I put this seminar together because of those wonderful women and the examples that they set for me in my life. And also because in my work as a realtor, I hear from seniors all the time. Should I go? Can I stay? What do I do with all of my stuff? So an answer, should I stay or should I go, is why this seminar came about. And my hope with you, when you leave here today, is that we've answered some of the questions that you asked earlier and more, even more. And that you leave here empowered and energized, wanting to take control of your life and deciding what you want to do. You know, leaving our home is kind of like leaving a best friend, isn't it? Think about it. You've lived in your home 30, 40, 50 years. You've had births, you've had weddings, you've had graduations, you've had parties, you've had barbecues. You've done a lot of things in your home, and it's always been there for you. But I will tell you, when it's time to leave, you're not leaving those memories in that home. It's just a shell of a structure. The memories are going with you. Remember that old saying, home is where you hang your heart? Well, I will tell you, home is where you are. These are some of the questions I get asked all the time by seniors. Maybe you've asked yourself some of these questions. Maybe it was, when is the right time? What do I do with all of my stuff? Can I take my pets? Why should I go? And you could go on and on with those questions. Where do I begin? You know, it always is interesting to me as I talk to seniors, and somebody said this very thing to me this morning actually, is I ask myself every day, should I go or should I stay? One day I'm going and the next day I'm staying. And it just goes round and round and round. And I see that happening a lot. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this seminar, so that you guys understand, all of us understand, I'm a senior too, that it's really important that you decide. You may not need to make that decision today, but someday you may need to. And the sooner you make it for yourself before somebody else has to, the happier you're going to be. There was a survey recently done with seniors, and they asked them 3 questions because they wanted to see how they were feeling about moving and downsizing. The first question they asked them is, what holds you back from answering those questions that I was just sharing with you? The first thing they said was fear of the unknown. You know, we're all scared of what's around the corner and what we don't know. But I think you have found, as I have found in my life, is the sooner we find out what the unknown is before we have to make the choice, the more comfortable we feel when the choice is made. Then there's the fear of not being able to take our pets, and that's a really important one. So you need to find out places, or you can go where they do take pets. Of course, the financial concerns. Can I afford this? You know? And downsizing, that dreaded downsizing. You're going to hear a little bit more about that later. And of course, the emotional fears. Am I making the right decision? The second question they asked him is, what is the number one reason why you would move? Well, the number one reason was health issues. How's your health? What if you fall? Do you still have those steps you're going up and down? You know? Do you live close to your family and your doctors? Are you still driving? All things to think about. The second one is maintaining your home. How's your home doing? You may be asking yourself, is my home deteriorating? Or maybe it's, am I able to keep it, maintain it up to the level that I'm used to? Or a big one, am I going to get the value out of my home when it is time for me to downsize and sell? And that's a big one, because if you're not maintaining your home, the value of your home can go downhill and you won't get the money that you wanted out of it. And I will tell you, as I'm sure you know, my mother found out, it takes a lot of money, time, and physical ability to take care of our homes, doesn't it? The next one was the loneliness. Are you lonely in your home? Maybe you're not getting out. Maybe you're spending every day, all day, taking care of the home, so you just don't get out. Or maybe when you get retired, you kind of closed that front door and said, that's it. And so you kind of stayed in your home. That's an important one. And then, of course, the greater security. Greater security is a very important one. It's not just about making sure that your home is safe when you leave town or when you go to bed at night, but it's also the internet and phone scams that are going around. And you know as well as I do, seniors are the target. So important things to think about. The third question they asked them, of all the people that you know who have moved and downsized, were they happy they made the move? Were they unhappy they made the move? Or maybe they didn't have an opinion. Well, I will tell you, as you can see, they were overwhelmingly happy that they made the move. You know, you may say to yourself, well, what happens if I don't? What happens if I keep asking that question and not answering it, and the day goes by and you ask it again? It kind of leaves you've got one foot in your home and you've got one foot out, one foot in, one foot out, never making a decision. And that's kind of a hard place to be, isn't it? And then there's, I'm not making a decision until they drag me out of here. I'm staying in my home. You know, that's what a lot of people say. And that's something to think about. What if you had a health scare? What if all of a sudden you find yourself in the hospital and for one reason or another you are not able to go back home? And then all of a sudden you have to make a fast, urgent decision about where you're going to live. I have seen this happen a lot, and it has led to a lot of unhappiness and sadness. And heaven forbid our children, you're unable to make the decision, and our children have to step in. And I don't know about you, but my children would not pick the place that I want to go. You know, kids, they wouldn't. So it's important. And I'm going to tell you a personal story. You know, Judy, my mother-in-law, well, this very thing happened to her last July. She called us up one night at 10 o'clock. She said, I'm throwing up. I'm sick. I don't know what's wrong. She said, I've called the ambulance. They're coming to get me. Can you meet me at the hospital? She lives in Woodland Hills, okay? We live here. we jump in the car, my husband and I, and we're running up there, and they did a bunch of tests with her. They kept her overnight, and I will tell you, by 3 o'clock that next afternoon, she had gone in and had surgery. It happened that fast. And we are so fortunate that she got to the hospital, because we would not have her had it not happened, had she just not gone to the hospital and had the surgery. So, that's a personal story. And when she was in the hospital, she was there for 2 weeks. And during that time, it was really hard for her to recover and to get better. And she was worried that she wasn't going to be able to go home. And one day when we were visiting with her, as we were up there with her every day, she said to us, she said, "Thank you for making me decide and choose where I want to go. Because if I can't go home, I don't have to worry or think about where I'm going. I know where I'm going. So all I have to do is focus on getting better." And I was so pleased that she realized that, and that she knew, because she did get better, and she focused on her health. And fortunately, she was able to go back home, and a couple of weeks later, she got better and she was able to drive. So she's still home. But we just never know when those things are going to happen to us. Let me tell you a little bit about the state of the market, the real estate market here. As you know, I don't have to tell you, we live in a beautiful place. Lots and lots of people want to live here. And we still have buyers on the market. And we're still low on our inventory. You may have heard that. We're getting better, but we're still not where we need to be. Interest rates are kind of creeping up, and they're kind of going down, and now they're kind of maintaining right around 4.5 or so. And so the buyers have jumped back in the market, and so we need inventory. But I will tell you, there seems to be a change in the wind in real estate. I don't have a crystal ball, and I certainly wouldn't want to try to guess what's going to happen to the real estate market. But I think it's changing. A few years ago, you probably know, your friend put their home on the market, and by the end of the week, it was gone. 9 or 10 offers. Well, today, when it goes on the market, it's kind of back to what we used to say is the old days. It was only 10 years ago. Homes are staying on the market 45, 60 days, and there's only 1 or 2 offers on the home. So that's why we need more inventory. And I will tell you, if you haven't heard this, hopefully this is great news for you. Your home is valued more than it was in 2008. Prices of real estate have gone up since the recession. So it's a really good time to get the money you want out of your home. You can't do this alone, and this is why I am doing this. I want to be an advocate and a resource for you. I want to help you answer those questions. And if I can't answer the questions, I know people who can, and I want to refer you to them. These are some of the people that you need to have in your back pocket, and you need to make sure that you can talk to them when you need them. First thing up there is a senior financial advisor. And I've invited Angela Park Sheldon to speak to you today. She is a financial advisor. She owns her own firm called Tortuga Wealth Management. And she's going to talk to you about different ways to manage your money and different ways to look at it, especially as seniors. Because one of those questions I get asked, just like all the others, will I outlive my money? Or will my money outlive me? It's an important thing to consider. Of course, you say, okay, I'm here. I came for a reason. Let's see what it looks like if I were to downsize. Well, the first thing you do is you figure out your finances. So you talk to your financial advisor, and they can help you and give you options. The second thing you want to do is, where are you going to go? Lots of places today, and I invited Andrea Daniels. She is a resource specialist with Heartlight, and she helps seniors know their options, whether it's a condo, apartment, or a senior facility. It's not like it was 30, 40, 50 years ago with old folks' home or anything like that. They're kind of like hotels, really nice places. And so she talks to seniors, and so she'll be talking to you today and helping you with that. Then, of course, who will help? There's a lot of people out there that you may not know about. Besides your family and friends, there are resources, volunteer organizations that want to help seniors with moving and downsizing. You just need to know about them and ask. And then, what do I do with all of my stuff? That is a really big one. I bet none of your homes look like this. But they all have lots of treasures in them. You know, if you are older than the baby boom generation, Tom Brokaw coined you as the greatest generation. And you know what? You are the greatest generation. And you're also the greatest savers. And you have lots of treasures. Downsizing is a big deal. I will tell you, it can hold a family back for years. What's mom and dad going to take? What are the kids going to take? And where does the rest go? So I invited Dr. Regina Lark here today. She owns a company called A Clear Path. And this is what she and her team does. They help seniors downsize and declutter. I've seen them do a house like this in 2 weeks or less. They do it very quickly, but I will tell you they do it methodically and carefully so that you feel comfortable every step of the way. Now, when you do sell your home, there's 3 ways to sell your home. First, you sell it as is. You don't put any money into it. You settle on a price and you put it on the market. We had a lady up in Palos Verde do this very thing. She had lived in her house 30 years since her husband had died, and she didn't have the money and she didn't want to take the time to maintain her home. So when it became time and she had to go, she didn't want to take care of it and get it ready to put on the market. So we settled on a price and we sold it for her. And homes that we sell like this usually go to flippers or investors. Now, the second way to sell your home is to fix the defects. And this is what most people do. They're still living in their home. They paint a few rooms, repair a few things, and then they put it on the market. We just closed on a home in Redondo that we did this very thing with. The family was still living in the home, and we had our handyman come in and he painted the home and he fixed up a few things, power washed the driveway and redid the landscape so it looked beautiful. And then we put it on the market for them. The third way to sell your home is to fix the defects and then to stage it. Now, this is when you hire a company to come in, and usually you're not living in the home, it's empty, and the company brings their own furniture in and puts it around the home. If you do it this way, what it does is it helps people see how their furniture would look like and what the home looks like with furniture in it. We have a home on the market right now that we've done that too. She wanted to, the house was empty and she wanted to stage it, and now it's on the market. So 3 different ways. Either way that's best for you is what you want to do. Let me tell you a little bit how me and my team work. As a senior real estate specialist, we are trained in the emotional and financial challenges that seniors face when they're looking to downsize. What sets me and my team apart from the other realtors out there is that we care about you. We want to take the time that you need to make those decisions. We give you all of the information and you make the decision. You decide. You know, no 2 families are alike. Every one of us have different situations and different circumstances, and you need a realtor who understands that and who will listen. What we do is the first thing is we'll put a timeline together for you. What we do is we start when the day you want to be in your new home, and then we work backwards. Because we want to make sure that you know every step of the way where you should be when you want to move and what you need to do so that you can go and be in your home when that time comes. The next thing will help you and show you what your home is worth. And then, of course, you want to know where to move, and you'll hear more about that. We don't ever want you to sell your home until you know where you're going. And then, of course, downsizing, and we'll talk about, Regina will talk about that a little bit later. The next thing we do for you is we help you prepare the home. Now this again depends on what you want to do. I showed you three different ways. You can sell it as is, you can fix the defects, or you can stage it. Whatever way you want to do it, we can help you. And we have contractors and handymen that we can call in if you need to. And we can be there for you too. A lot of our seniors, don't know the handyman, and so we make sure that we're there and introduce you to them. And if you're not comfortable, then we stay there and help you because we're there for you. Then we put your home on the market, we mark it up. Now, a lot of seniors that we work with, they don't want a sign in their yard or a lockbox on their door because they don't want people to come up and knock on their door and go, "Can I see your home?" No, it doesn't make them feel comfortable. That's fine. We can work with you. We can be there for every showing so that you feel good about the process. And we can help you stay in the home we can help you if and when we have a showing and you don't want to leave. That's okay. We can be there too, and a lot of our seniors can't leave the home, and we understand that. So we'll work with you in that respect. Once your home's ready to go on the market, we want to market your home. And I will tell you, one thing that we do for you is we want to make sure that you feel comfortable when we market your home. The most important thing for you to know is that we want your home to show at its very best, and we want to give your home as much exposure as it needs to get sold. But we also want to make sure that you're comfortable while we're doing it. Then the next thing is you want to move, and we'll be there when you move, and we'll say goodbye to you. We'll make sure everything's in place and that you're happy. I hear from seniors all the time once they've done this, a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. Or, you wouldn't believe what I'm doing now that I thought I never would be able to do again. Or, I wish I had made the decision a long time ago. When you leave here today, in your gift bag, you are going to get 2 books. One's called Moving in the Right Direction for Seniors. The other is called Guiding Our Parents in the Right Direction. They were written by a friend of mine named Bruce Nemovitz. He's been helping seniors and their families for over 30 years do this very thing. So he decided to put all of his stories into 2 books. Great book, short chapters, easy to read, lots of examples and stories, make you laugh, and lots of chapters. And it's not a book that you read chapter for chapter. What you do is you open it up to the index, say, okay, I want to see when is the right time, what he has to say about it. Or maybe it's all in our mind, whether we want to move or not. So I hope you enjoy these and that they continue to give you help when you are making the decision of whether to downsize or whether to stay in your home or whether to go. I have a short story I want to read to you. It's important, it means a lot to me. I hope it means a lot to you. It's called Rules for Being Happy, and I live by this every day of my life. A 92-year-old, petite, well-poised, and proud lady who is fully dressed each morning by 8 o'clock with her hair fashionably coiffed and makeup perfectly applied, even though she's legally blind, moved to a senior community today. Her husband of 70 years recently passed away, making the move necessary. After many hours of waiting patiently in the lobby of her new home, she smiled sweetly when told her room was ready. As she maneuvered her walker to the elevator, I provided a visual description of her tiny room, including the eyelet sheets that had been hung on her window. "I love it," she exclaimed with the enthusiasm of an 8-year-old child having just been presented with a new puppy. "Mrs. Jones, you haven't seen the room yet. You just wait." She said, "That doesn't matter, having anything to do with it," she said. "Happiness is something you decide on ahead of time. Whether I like my room or not doesn't depend on how the furniture is arranged. It's how I arrange my mind." I already have decided to love it. It's a decision that I make every morning when I wake up. I have a choice. I can spend the day in bed recounting the difficulty I have with the parts of my body that no longer work, or I can get out of bed and be thankful for the ones that do. Each day is a gift, and as long as my eyes open, I'll focus on the new day and all the happy memories that I've stored away just for this time in my life. She went on to exclaim, old age is like a bank account. You withdraw from it what you put in. So my advice to you would be to deposit a lot of happiness in your bank account of memories. She said, thank you for your part in my memory bank. I'm still depositing. And then she went on to say, remember the 5 simple rules to be happy. Free your heart from hatred. Free your mind from worries. Live simply, give more, and expect less. Once again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.